Just want to go right now to Lieutenant Chris Olivarez, the Texas Department of Public Safety. Lieutenant, here we go again. Unfortunately, every time we talk, we have another surge to deal with, and now even tougher conditions, and now criticism of the way Texas is handling this whole matter, because states and locales that never had to deal with this before suddenly are. What do you think of it all?
Right, Neil. So good morning. Of course, it's always great to be with you.
Same
but of course, when we talk about those the criticism that's being voiced by the states of New York and Washington. I mean, those are baseless political accusations and criticism as far as, on the state of Texas. But we know for a fact, and we state the facts, the state of Texas is busing immigrants from Texas to Washington. We're not busing immigrants to New York. And if those mayors, especially the states of New York and Washington, really want to get to the root causes of this whole situation, well, they need to voice those concerns and frustrations to the federal government, who has failed and completely neglected to secure the border. And that's why we see this mass influx of immigrants coming across our borders. But they are the ones that have been busing and flying these immigrants on secret flights to these states. And they're only seeing a small fraction, of what we're seeing every single day here on the southern border. I mean, we're seeing 7,000 to 8,000 immigrants that are coming across every single day that are flooding these surging resources on these small border communities such as Eagle Pass and Del Rio. So again, going back to these states, Washington, New York, they need to voice their concerns to the federal government so they can help secure the border and take care of this problem and have it under control.
You would think with the rising temperatures, Chris, that fewer migrants would try this hazardous journey. It's actually just the opposite, isn't it?
It is the opposite, and of course, we're now with the summer heat in South Texas. I mean, the extreme temperatures over 110 plus degrees weather. These immigrants are still making this long, treacherous journey. All this week, I was in the West Texas area with our aircraft operations division, and we're seeing immigrants that are making a 1 to 2 week long journey through the mountains, trying to get to a highway, get picked up by a human smuggler. And some of them, unfortunately, did not make it. We were able to perform several rescues where we rescued some of these immigrants from Mexico and Guatemala who were completely out of water and out of food. But again, this all goes back to how these immigrants are encouraged to make this long journey. And that it all starts from day one when the federal government announced that essentially we have an open border and those that come across into the United States will be released. And they've seen it firsthand. And that's why we continue to see this influx of immigrants coming across our border. But the state of Texas is having to take the lead in this initiative to try to secure the border as much as possible. And Governor Abbott is doing as much as he can. And actually, he's the only governor that's doing far more in terms of border security by providing the resources and tools that we need as an agency to help combat some of these human smugglers, help stem the flow of mass migration, and to go after the drug smugglers, especially fentanyl that's coming across our borders.
Do you know, Chris, are the Mexicans doing anything to either slow, halt, reverse this surge? Because as you reminded me, I believe you were among the first to say so, this is more than just Mexican migrants or those coming from Guatemala. This is better than 100 countries now represented in these waves. What do you think of all that?
Well, of course, Governor Abbott, again, one of the initiatives that he did, which is an historic initiative and that the federal government failed to do and has not done even since day one, was actually have these conversations with 4 governors of Mexico that border the state of Texas. They're doing their part as much as possible, Neil, to try to stem the flow of migrants that are coming across. They've been able to dismantle some of these large caravans that were trying to make their way to the border. But again, it all falls back on the federal government. This is a federal government responsibility to actually secure the border and actually put pressure on these countries so they can prevent the flow of immigrants that are coming across the border. They're making this long, treacherous journey. We're also seeing unaccompanied children, a record number of unaccompanied children that are coming across our border as well from many different countries. So again, it all falls back on the responsibility of the federal government, how the state of Texas, and of course what Governor Abbott is doing, is taking the matter into his own hands and trying to protect the state of Texas, but also the entire country as well.
Lieutenant Chris Olivarez, always good catching up with you. I'm always sorry under these circumstances what you have to put up with as well. The heat, the least of it, but just all part of the mix. Thank you and your people very much, Chris. I appreciate it.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.